Good morning, good afternoon, good night, everybody. So it's been a minute. Much love to my Boosted Motion family. Hopefully you guys hit the like button. Thank you guys for showing your support. I know it's been a minute, but definitely hit the like button. So this video I made because, well, Nissan Infiniti released a new motor, or releasing a new motor. There's going to be more information that we find out later this month. But as of right now, this is the information it has given us. So let's jump right into it. The first thing that they sat there and said as statistics is this is going to be a VR35DDT. Now, usually when they give these names, usually two T's and one T's let you know how much turbos they're going to have. So they're calling this a twin turbo motor, but they're saying DDT, which is confusing. So maybe that might be a typo, because if it's a single turbo, we'll speak about that a little later, that will be a weird configuration. But it's called a VR35 DDT motor, right? So we first saw this VR in the GTR, then the VR30 in our Q50, Q60, and then now Nissan Z. And now they're going to replace the 5.6 liter V8 that comes in the QX80 and also the Nissan Armada with this, I would say, more torquey VR30 or VR derivative more VR35. Now, this isn't the first time they hinted to this to us, guys. They said it to us last year when they were coming out with the QX80. They were speaking about it. They said it's going to get a twin turbo V6 motor. That's what they said, but they never gave the size code or any engine or any information. So we went off the assumption that it will be a VR30. Most guys who have Q50s, Q60s, Nissan Zs, you don't really pay attention to this stuff, and I get it because it's a large vehicle. And we're just like, okay, they'll probably put the VR30 in it, right? Well, in this case, they're going with a VR35 DDT. It does make me question, though, why did they make technically a new motor? Or will this just be I'll get more into those questions a little later, but they could have just kept the VR30 in there and just slapped it in there and maybe changed the cam, maybe go to lower compression turbo, low compression pistons, maybe stroke it out, larger turbos so they could flow or better design. But maybe they said, you know what, we didn't want this large vehicle being this motor being strained out by such a large vehicle, so they designed the VR35 for the extra, because there's no replacement for displacement. Let's be honest, guys. But even then, when I sat there and thought about it, okay, so you guys came out of VR35 DDT. So this led to other questions. If you are gonna have it, the T usually means one turbo, but they say in twin turbo. BMW does the same thing, which is stupid, and the B58 says a twin turbo, but it only has one turbo, which is stupid. They usually mean the twin, as in it'll be twin scroll technology. That's why they use the twin turbo thing, because they say it's twin scroll. Twin scroll usually means that you have both exhaust banks going into, let's say, the similar I would say exhaust manifold, but it's split in half. One bank goes one way, one bank comes the other way. And that actually spools up the performance of the turbos. So, and plus the turbos are designed a little different too. But even then, I don't think Nissan will do that technology. They never have, but maybe not. But for them to go with a single turbo on a longitudinal mounted platform such as the QX80 kind of throws me off a little bit. It would have to be designed something similar like the Acura TLX. If you guys ever look at that motor, it's a single turbo V6 transverse mounted motor. But the exhaust manifolds pretty much come off just like a regular header, and they go and they collect into one spot, and they have one single turbo that spools up for the V6. So for them to design something like that, even though I would say the QX80's engine bay is a lot massively larger, they can pretty much probably fit that in there. I don't really see the sense of it. Maybe complexity-wise, it would be a little easier. Two exhaust manifolds coming right to the back, but then they would probably have to sit above the transmission. Maybe not. I don't know. If there's enough engine space, maybe that's what they'll do. Or they'll make like a hot V design. Highly doubt that. They're not going to, Nissan is not going to design a hot V motor. Pretty much that's when the exhaust manifolds are, the exhaust ports are going to be on actually the inside of the V, and those have the turbo sit right in the middle, just like the AMGs and the BMWs, M5s and stuff like that. But they're not going to do that. So most likely be something like the Acura. I can see that in performance-wise, that might actually be pretty dope. Because we'll have a single turbo. That means you could definitely upgrade to a larger turbo. The turbo will spool up a lot quicker, and that would probably make more sense of where it could be a a twin turbo or a twin scroll turbo could actually sit right above the transmission or to the rear of the engine on the top. That would be pretty cool. I can see that. But then you got to think about that application going into their other vehicles that they may be wanting to water it down to. So let's theoretically think about that too. So then if they are designing this motor, usually they're not going to make just one motor for one car and call it a day. They want to cross-pollinate different vehicles between Nissan and Infiniti and see if it can work everywhere. So if they're going to put this in the QX80, we can see that we can sit there and say this is also going to be in a Nissan Armada moving forward, right? And then you might be able to see this same motor in some of their trucks too. So if they still make the Titan, well, I don't think they do, but if they decide to come out with the Titan or any other large truck, they'll probably put that motor in their Nissan truck too, rather than a V6. Or they'll probably, as they're getting rid of the 5.6, they'll probably replace it with this motor. I see it myself. But then that leads us to the next question then. What are they going to do with the VR30s now? Now, the VR30 is going to continue to be around for a little while longer because they have it in a Nissan VZ for like the last 2-3 years now, which you see how that's doing. But Nissan Infiniti usually likes to, once again, cross-pollinate their motors into other vehicles. And the VR30 is a longitudinal mount, so we're still going to sit there and go with the assumption, well, maybe they'll put the VR35 in there. It all depends on size of the motor, exactly the configuration, how the turbo is going to sit, or turbo is going to sit. So we don't know where that actually may be headed. We don't know that information, not yet. But it's nice to know that Nissan is still continuing with different variations of the VR, and it lets us know that they're still going to be tinkering with that a little bit longer. Now we can move on to the second thing that I find quite important, 9-speed automatic transmission. So as Nissan Infiniti is moving away from CVT transmissions, well, honestly, the longitudinal mount cars never really had CVTs. So they replaced it with a 9-speed automatic. We're going to go off the assumption that's the same or similar 9-speed automatic that's in their Nissan Z2. I'm not too positive what 9-speed automatic is in the QX60, the one with the 3.5 9-speed automatic transmission. I don't know if that's transverse mounted or not because they use a 3.5 liter motor. Regular VQ 3.5 liter motor. I see a lot of people still lease those cars. They look good on the road, but I just don't know if it's longitudinal mounted or not. But if it is, I'm assuming it's using the same 9-speed transmission or variation of it. Now, that makes us formulate a bigger question now. What is the next Q50 going to look like when it comes to the actual motor and transmission? What is it going to look like? We can go off the assumption, because that's the most important thing. We can go with the assumption that the next Q50 is going to have a 9-speed automatic transmission. We could go with that assumption. 2, I can sit there and say this is my observation, looking at how the market is, looking how the car market is. 5 years ago, Nissan Infiniti was saying that in 2025, most of their cars are going to be hybrid or electric. 5 years later, that's not happening, and the market doesn't want electric cars. And when it comes to business, you want to invest your money into things that actually return a profit. So in our overseas, Nissan does pretty good with electric cars, but in America, we like gasoline. We like petrol, right? We're still gearheads, and even though you may not be a gearhead, you still want something that put gasoline in your car because electric cars are for a certain niche of people that have a certain specific lifestyle. But that doesn't apply for majority of people in America. We love gasoline. Give us that dinosaur piss, if you know what I mean. So the VR30 seems like it's still going to probably be here. Now the big question is, will they put the VR35 in a Q50? My assumption on video just saying it, no, I doubt it. I don't think they're going to put the VR35 in here because I know you guys are questioning it too. I highly doubt it. From the standpoint of, because we just don't know what it looks like. We don't know the size of it. We don't know, did they stroke it out? We don't know if they is it a VR30 bored out? Like, but even then, when you look at a VR30 and try to board out to a 0.5, you're making a lot of things. They would have to basically build the VR30 to be stronger and even thicker for it to be pretty much a VR30, the VR35. So I don't really see that if it's technically maybe a bigger motor. Or it's just a stroked out VR30. We don't know. But even then, I would want them to definitely make that motor a lot stronger because that motor is going to be going into a 5,000-pound truck. So it needs to be beefier and more stronger. So I just don't see that going into the next Q50 unless they go with a different chassis for the Q50. Or maybe if they decided to, let's say, bring back like a QX70 and that engine bay, the Q70, or that engine bay might be a lot bigger. I don't know. But I don't think so. I don't see Nissan Infiniti doing that for the Q50. As long as the VR30 is around, they'll just redo the Q50, make it nicer in exterior, give it way more up to date, but it'll still have a 9-speed auto with a VR30 in it, most likely, with the newer engine code from the Nissan Z. I see that most likely. Of course, it'll be all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive models, and I wouldn't see them making a hybrid. In my opinion, I don't see them making a hybrid because, remember, it's been 10 years, guys. It's 2024. 2014, Q50 came out, but they also came with a hybrid model. A lot of people with a hybrid model now are running into issues with battery charge. So that is an expensive thing that people have to pay for, and the market just really isn't there for a entry-level luxury car that's hybrid. Even though we see a lot of other auto manufacturers doing so, the ones who are selling high volume entry level luxury cars, they're just not really putting these hybrid vehicles in it. They might have something such as small generators or small hybrid systems that are just useful when the car turns off, that it still runs a lot of electronics, but that's not really a hybrid vehicle. That's just there to keep some of the accessories running when you go to a stop. I see that being more implemented across the industry, but in the vast amount of industry, the cars who have the electric hybrid packs, those are high performance cars. C63S, they have Porsche Panameras, and a lot of these higher, more expensive cars that use this type of technology. But those cars are not everyday cars people are going to go buy as entry level. They don't want to make that much investment in these cars. They'd rather give you guys high volume cars where it'll still be more simpler systems, and I see that more in the industry, period. And Infiniti doesn't have the money to take that on. That's why they pretty much scrapped the whole idea. Let's have most cars hybrid and or electric cars by 2025. The idea is it's not there. It doesn't exist. You can't sell people things that they don't want to buy. So you have to change back to what people want to buy. So that was just my random talk right there. So we can sit there and say, at this current moment, until we get some more information, Nissan Infiniti has designed a updated or different VR30, and it will be in a Nissan Infiniti vehicle. And for the tuners and car people like us, this is a good thing, because if it's anything similar to the configuration of the VR30, if the engine mount's the same, and if it's like cookie cutter, like how Nissan vehicles are, where one engine just swaps into another, and we'll just figure everything out with wiring, this is a good thing. And knowing that Nissan Infiniti tries their best to reuse stuff, most likely. I'm just saying. But then, even then, we don't know. Right? So it's just an assumption video. But otherwise than that, guys, I really appreciate y'all. We'll find out more information. I'm happy about this. This is really good news. And I'm happy that Nissan Infiniti is still working on things. And yeah, we'll see. So outside, I got you. Good morning, good afternoon, night. I really appreciate it. You guys have a good day. Thank you.